Showing me the way I'm sitting nowadays. The money stacked 9 ways. I'm sipping on a latte. Why they all call me bougie, bougie, bougie? I don't want no prayers from no haters. Probably waiting on my downfall. Mad that we made it in my wins on time. Why you trying to delay it? And they say it's authentic, but they wins look plated. They fake though, and I need all my cheese. Queso, provolone, and get all of my dogs out the trap like Home Alone. And Creed said I'm locked in. I really got no options. Standing on business, I need mines off the top then. Let them go ahead and count us all out. We just running up the numbers, watch us hit another level. Hey, hey, can't hold me back. Put the city on the map, boy, how you love that? Boy, they thought that I was playing, but I hit another level. About to hit another level, had to hit another level. Hey, hit another level. Finna hit another level, gotta hit.
Welcome to the Jared Briggs Show. It is Friday, ladies and gentlemen, and we are live again today. 5 days in a row this week we've been doing this. Today we are going to be talking about what is real. Just had a cool conversation with my dad, actually, and we got talking about something that I haven't been thinking about for a while, and I liked it. And we got some questions. We got a bunch of different things. You guys, I spend a lot of time thinking about this, and I drive about 35 to 40 minutes to work every single day. I go, 35, 40 minutes here and home. So it gives me a good hour to an hour and a half-ish of thinking time, phone call time, listening time, watching time, whatever it is that I'm doing at the moment. And I've been thinking about these shows. I've been thinking about what it is that I want to do. And you guys, I've got a big dream. I've got a big passion and desire. And I don't know what it looks like or how to accomplish it, or I just don't know a lot of the what. But I know that every single day, if I do something, if I take action in some way, if it's not perfect, but I do it, done is better than perfect. And I really look at the financial status of the United States of America. I actually had a conversation with somebody that I do their health insurance for, and we got talking about this. And they pay a lot for their health insurance premium and the copays and the deductibles and everything that's going on. And they were just like, yeah, well, it's ridiculous. This is a whole mess. But what is the answer? You guys, that's across the United States of America, period. Health insurance, inflation, cost of housing, cost of living, cost of groceries, cost of gas, cost of clothing, cost of everything. Yet, we're still paying for it. We're still doing it. And I think we've gotten a little bit lost in priority. We've gotten a little lost in, what is necessity? What is important? What is that we have to? And I don't ever want to become on the negative side of it. I want the positive of these things. But if you look back 100 years ago, like our grandparents and parents and whatever your family situation and family tree is, like their life was very, very, very simple. Their expenses was very, very, very simple. Are we progressing into the way that we are going in today's world? It's just a thought that I've been really, really thinking about. But another thing is I feel a desire to help as many people as possible get on top of their money, and that's what I'm trying to do here. It's not perfect yet, but I'm doing it. I'm inspired by Joe Rogan in this sense. He just started talking. He just started recording. He started sharing his thoughts. He started interviewing people. And that's what I'm doing here. Hopefully 5 years, I look at this video and laugh because I'm like, oh, man, look where I've come. Look what I've done. Look how many people have been helped. Look at the movement we've created. That's the desire. That's the dream. So, for today, what is real? I don't know if you guys have paid attention. It was just brought to my attention that gold and silver had spiked incredibly. If you guys are wondering, I'm going to share an app with you that I've bought in silver over the last little bit, last 5 years. JM Bullion, JM and then BULLION. Every time I go buy silver, that is what they base the cost off of. So I'm guessing this is the most common, but today silver is $103.93. That's spot. It's gone up $7.34. First time it's ever broke $100 ever. If you look year to date, even January 1st, it was $72. 1 year ago, so like January 26th, 2025, it was $31. I was buying silver when it was $20 to $25. Wish I would have bought a lot more than I did. Another interesting thing is gold. Gold is $4,997.60. That's a spot. That's what it is. There's always going to be a markup when you go buy it. But if you look like 1 year ago, gold a year ago, January 26th, that's as far as I can get my thumb to go, because today's the 23rd. Gold was $2,798. So it's spiked a lot. And I was just having a conversation with my dad about this, and he was like, hey, where do I buy silver? We need to buy more. Interesting thing about that is it's crazy what's happening, which is I've always had what the heck is crypto, and what is crypto really going to do? This is kind of a sign. This is according to my thoughts. Like, what is real? Crypto, it's still valued at a lot. Like, if you bought Bitcoin 10 years ago, you're doing very, very well. But it's not real. Crypto, the dollar, the $10, the 20, the 50, the 100, coins, all of those things, you guys, it's not backed by gold. It's not backed by silver. It has none of that. So what truly is real when it comes to those things? And that just reflects in my mind, like, this is kind of interesting that gold and silver is spiking as much as it is. And I actually asked AI what is going on, and it talked about a lot of industrial things are using silver, and so other countries are buying silver, trying to buy up the silver supply. Is that going to continue to drive price? Possibly. But one thing that I would say for you guys is don't just run out and start buying coins. Because if we don't study this, like, you're literally going to go buy something for $100 and then just let it sit. You know, like, what is the plan? I bought silver because I believe it's real. I believe it's a real currency. I believe it, if our financial market completely collapsed, I could take a coin silver and trade it for food, water, shelter, whatever, right? Like, we could actually use it. Same thing with gold. I wish I would have bought a gold coin a couple years ago, because now it's freaking $5,000 for a gold coin. When I was looking at it, like, all time, I'm going to just pull this up right here. Like, I was buying stuff. Oh, here we go. Back in like 2020, let's see. Yeah, it was like between 16, well, even 14, like 2019, it was $1,500. So anywhere from $1,400 to $1,800 for a coin. And now it's worth $4,997. That is the high. We're a couple bucks away from $5,000 for an ounce of gold. You can also look at like platinum. Platinum is at $2,700. Palladium is $2,000. Gold and silver combination coins is $50. That's kind of interesting. I wonder why that's so low. I don't know much about that, actually. I don't know anything about that. But gold and silver is the stuff that I've been looking at. Should have bought gold. Should have bought a gold coin for $1,500. But at the time, this is the interesting thing, ladies and gentlemen. At the time, I looked at $1,800, and I'm like, God, what am I going to ever do with that? Well, I could have sold it for a very good profit right now. I had more than doubled my money. But then you never want to sell it either, right? Unless you use it or need it. Another interesting thing is my wife and I were having a conversation about land. And the land situation in America is wild. And I feel like it's causing problems. We were talking about ranches. We were talking about ranchers operating their land, and like, there's ranches where it's like second, third, fourth, fifth generation, and they still have debt on the land. And it's like, how could people still have debt? That is, I wonder if you guys have any insight of what you guys think. This is what I look at, is a lot of people don't understand debt. I don't understand it fully. There's a lot to learn about how to use debt properly. The other thing is, if 20 years ago, an acre was worth $500 in this area, I know every property is different, okay? But an agricultural piece of property, let's say it was worth $500 20 years ago, and now it's worth $3,000 for that acre. Well, that is equity, and banks will loan you based on that equity. They'll be like, hey, we'll give you 60% of the value. So let's say you had 100 acres and it was debt free, right? So you had 100 acres and now it's worth $3,000. That's $300,000. And let's say they'll loan 60% of that. They're like, hey, we'll give you $180,000. Well, people might be borrowing that money to go buy equipment or payroll or, live off of, whatever the situation may be, to operate their properties. I share all of this with you because, what is real? Is crypto real? Is money real? Is silver and gold and all that real? Is land investing, is that real? I share this because it is very easy to get caught up in the hype. I look at that and silver and I'm like, dang, I should have bought more silver. But then I look at it and I'm like, and I go buy it now, I'll be paying 4 times what I was buying it for. But what if it goes to $500 a coin? It is so easy to get caught up in the hype. Look at COVID. House prices were down super low. Interest rates were super down really low. Or house prices were high. Interest rates were low. Vehicle prices were super stupid high, but interest rates were a little bit lower. There was a ton of hype. Everybody got excited. Everybody's like, well, everybody's buying vehicles. Everybody's buying houses. Everybody's buying campers. Everybody's buying crypto. Everybody's buying silver. What is real? The tortoise and the hare, this is what I think about. The tortoise and the hare. Slow and steady wins the race. If you just go out and bam, all of a sudden, did you make an actual educational move to improve your financial position? If you went and spent $2,000 on silver right now, well, what's your plan with that? Does that help you in the long term? Because I'm really tempted to go buy silver right now. But then my dad and I were talking about it and I was like, huh. And he said something very interesting where he's like, if you have your house in order, your food storage, water storage, bills, everything taken care of, it would be good to go invest a couple $100s in silver and have that as another option, another backup. That's real. You're never going to lose your money in that. And I agree with that. I really agree with that. And that's where I thought, I was like, I should probably get my home in order a little bit more before I start parking money in a place where it's just like, I don't know what this is ever going to do. Right? Now, if you're out there with retirement money and you're like, hey, I'm going to go spend $100,000 on precious metals and allow that to be my retirement plan, great. But what is real? What is going to be truly beneficial for your life in the long run, in the long term, and in the short term? The tortoise and the hare, slow and steady wins the race. What if you were like, okay, man, this is crazy. I should have bought silver a long time ago. I'm going to start setting $50 aside every time I get paid. And every time I have enough, I'm going to go buy a coin. Okay, great. Slow and steady. Every month, boom. Every month, boom. Every month, boom. That's what I was doing for a while. I was buying a 1 ounce coin every single month. Glad I did. Wish I wouldn't have quit it. I moved, didn't have access to it anymore. Made a stupid excuse. Move on. Okay, but I really ask you for your own personal thought. What is real? And I ask that because I think everybody's going to have a different definition of what is real. I'm sure you can get on YouTube. I'm sure you can get on all types of different places and look at what is going on financially in the market. And everybody's going to have a different idea, a different thing to share, a different perspective, a different opinion. But I think it's important that we start creating an opinion for ourselves. Do you think? I see one of the biggest problems we have is politically in our country, right here in America, the ability for people to think for themselves, I think is part of the problem, why we have the problems we do here in America. We just take it for what it is, or what the hype is on media. You know, oh, we should vote for Trump, or we should vote for Hillary, or we should vote for Biden, or we should vote for X, Y, and Z. Have we really studied, you know, who they are and what they are, and have we really paid attention to what is going to benefit us the most? Like, what is real? What is truly valuable and beneficial for you personally in your life? I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I've completely taken a step back in my life. That was part of my plan in 2026. The conversations that I'm having, the people that I'm talking to, the people that I'm hanging out with, the all of this, like I don't want to be a people pleaser. Like, I want to know what's real. You know, are my friends really my friends? Is the time that I'm spending real? Is it of value towards the person that I want to be? Is buying silver a real thing that is going to benefit me? Crypto. You know, crypto, I've wondered. I've put $25 in crypto, Bitcoin, every once in a while just to see and kind of learn and just be a part of it a little bit. I think I've got like $400. I've put in about $300. I've made $120 somewhere. Is I just looked at it. Okay, cool. Maybe I should cash out $120 and go buy. Yo, that's not a bad idea. Like, what if you used crypto, followed crypto, grew it? When it grows, pull out the profit, go buy silver, and then keep doing that, and then go buy something that's actually real, physical, tangible, monetary value of money. I mean, gold and silver and these precious metals, they're the only thing that's truly real. Like, money started with those. And then we created fiat money, which is like, hey, instead of everybody, you know, using gold and silver, let's create fiat money. And it was backed by gold and silver. And then that went away too. And it allowed the Federal Reserve and the IRS to just print money whenever they want, however they want. I mean, they could print $1 billion today if they wanted. Say, here you go, government, here you go. Russia, here you go. Brazil, here. Like, it's fiat money. It's fake. It's not real. So I ask you for yourself, and I hope to freaking, like, I hope you, like, really sit back in your chair or whatever you're doing right now is like, holy crap, what is real? What is truth? What is really going on, and what is really happening with money? I mean, it's crazy out here. It's crazy. Those are some thoughts that I've been having, and I wanted to share with you guys. We're going to move on to the next section. The next section is, I'm going to go over this super brief. This is a system that I share because I want to help you guys. If you're struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, if you're feeling frustrated, we weren't taught anything about money. I wasn't. I graduated high school and barely knew how to balance a checkbook. I didn't understand how interest worked. I didn't understand credit cards. I didn't even know how to pay a bill. I remember being so freaking scared. Like, I got to go get car insurance. I'm like, how do I pay for it? Like, do I just, like, go give them cash every month? Like, how do I pay my bills? I had no clue. So I had to figure those things out. And that is the problem in today's world is, I believe our educational system, the educational system that runs our elementaries, middle schools, high schools, and college, I believe financial knowledge was purposely taken out. I believe it was on purpose. Education about money was taken out. That's why we have nothing. I mean, how many financial classes did you really go through school? We weren't taught nothing about taxes and how it works and how to use it. We weren't taught about interest. We weren't talking about debt. We weren't taught about managing money. We weren't talking about, compounding. We weren't taught about none of these things. I remember sitting in a class, a home ec class, and the financial advice was, go get a loan on your car tires. If you got to go if you need new tires, go get a loan and pay that off, and you'll learn something about, paying debt and interest. And I'm like, what the frick? That was our financial advice. And the next financial advice we were given is that I remember our superintendent set up a thing where we were given an income, or our salary, our income was based on our GPA. It was based on our GPA, 100%. And I don't believe in that at all. I have no college degree, barely graduated high school, and I've been able to do okay. I take care of my family. And so I struggle with this. So I share that because we're starting from ground zero in a sense. And one of the 3 steps to increasing income and understanding your money and managing your money and being in charge of your money and stop living paycheck to paycheck. Step number 1 is you need to know your income. You need to track it. You need to manually put it in somewhere every single month. Like, oh, I made $4,122.27. Because that 27 cents is important. You guys, I'm just going to tell you, 0.27 times 12, that's $3.24. You times that by 50 years, that's $162. How are we going to ever, that's 27 cents a month is $162 in 50 years. No, you're not going to get rich off $162. But if we don't learn how to manage 27 cents, what makes us think we're going to manage $2,700 or $27,000 or $270,000? If we can't manage a penny, how are we going to manage $100? So we need to know our income. We need to know what we're collecting. We need to know what we're receiving. Then we need to create a plan. That plan is knowing our fixed expenses, knowing your variable expenses. Fixed expenses are the ones that are the same all the time. Variable are the ones that change all the time. Gas, electricity, those are variable expenses. Fixed expenses is your car payment, your mortgage, whatever it is that you have that stay the same, okay? And then anything left over, I promise you there's money left over. Anything left over, we start categorizing and telling that money what to do. So every single penny, every dollar, everything has a purpose, and you're telling it where to go and what to do instead of just operating. Step number 3 is increasing income. Now, I've been sharing this for, 20 days in a row, whatever it is. I understand there may be some people out there that love their job. You love your job. You love your career. You're doing exactly what it is. And maybe there's not an opportunity for you to be like, hey, if I work harder, I'm not going to make any more money. And I get that. And if that's your situation and you are happy and you love your life, good freaking job. You just need to get really good at step number 1 and step number 2. And then be the very best you can at your job all the time, because you never know where it's going to lead to. You may get a raise, you may get that promotion, you may become the manager, you may become the boss, or you may just be like, I can do this on my own. I'm going to start my own business. You need to perform at a high level all the time in what it is that you are doing. But if you don't have the ability to fluctuate your income or increase or improve, you need to be really good at step number 1 and step number 2 and be meticulous about every penny. Know where it's going, know what it's doing, and have a plan and a system. I love the saying, plan. If you plan, oh gosh, now I'm getting tongue-tied on it. If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. That whole saying, right? If you have a plan, you can plan for things specifically when it comes to your money, when it comes to your goals, when it comes to your dreams, when it comes to your desires. Okay, so I share those things with you because I know they can help. We're just speeding along through this today because we're going to jump to the questions now. I really enjoy doing these questions. So I've found 5 questions here that I want to talk about. I didn't even read them. I read the title. That was it. I read the title. 1 year post-bankruptcy. What's the next move? Freaking get after it. Almost 27 year. Are you 27 years old? Filed Chapter 7 in January 2025. My current credit score is 656, TransUnion. I have a steady income of about $2,800 a month after taxes, including 403B deductions. My 403B is at about $7,000. My only debt is $21,000 in student loans. See, that's the bugger about student loans. A lot of people don't know that. You can't file bankruptcy on student loans. They are there until they are paid off, which I'm not required to pay at the moment. That doesn't matter. I took the year to recover from attorney fees and moving, enjoying being debt-free. Now, you're not debt-free. You have $21,000 in student loans. Now I feel like I need to make a move, but I'm not sure what. I have a savings, but it's got drained due to pet issues, vet bills, even though I have insurance. I'm wondering if A, it's time to apply for a card to start rebuilding credit. B, I should focus on saving. Or C, I should focus on paying student loans. I guess I could try to do all of the above, but it feels a little overwhelming. I have a return deposit of $900 pending from moving out, which will go to savings. I'm hoping tax returns are decent, but last year I only got $18. Hey, $18 is great, even with maximum deductions. Any advice? No one in my family is good with finances. Welcome to the club, dude. We've got like 300 and something million people that aren't good with finances. I'm no freaking perfect expert either. I'm sharing what it is that I know and what it is that I learned, but nobody's perfect on it. So you're all right, man. Okay. A, is it time to apply for a card? Until you know how those work, I wouldn't do that. Should I focus on saving? Or should I focus on paying student loans? This is what I would say. If you're not required to pay a student loan, that means no interest is being applied. It's not due yet. And so many people are like, oh, I don't have to start paying it until August. Yeah, because that's when interest is going to start to be applied, ladies and gentlemen. So right now, you could start paying on that and zero goes to interest. 100% of your dollars. If you put $1 into that, it all goes towards principal. All of it. So for you, at the moment you're not required, that is going to stick with you until it is gone. I would advise you, number one, make sure you have savings. If an emergency comes up, that you can deal with that emergency without the use of debt. I mean, like credit cards and debt. Unnecessary debt, okay? Not all debt is bad, ladies and gentlemen. Debt is a tool. But we have been taught to be consumers. And consumers use consumer debt. Credit cards, personal loans, vehicle loans, all of these things that are liabilities. You guys, a liability, if you have not read the book from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. Therefore, by definition, your home, even if you own it, is a liability because it takes money out of your pocket every single month. I 100% agree with Robert Kiyosaki's statement there. Now, maybe when I sell my house and I have some equity and I profit some, but did you ever calculate taxes and maintenance and all of those home owner things? Okay, so that is something there. I would make sure you have savings. So if something comes up, an emergency, a flat tire, a sickness, or whatever, you've got some savings to lean on. Figure out what that is for you. Everybody's different. Some people need $1,000. Some people need $5,000. Some people need $10,000. You know, whatever your situation is. If you're making $2,800 a month, I'd maybe have $2, $3, $4,000 in savings that if you lost your job, you had a month or two to get something figured out. After that, I would create a system where you pour as much money into a savings account as you possibly can. And every so often you pull from it and put towards your student loan. And I say that because we've been trained to give our money to everybody else. You know, it's like, oh, pay an extra $50 on your loan. No, you're creating a habit of giving your money to everybody else through debt. Don't do that. Create a habit of giving your money to yourself. Pay yourself first, okay? So I would set up like a money market account or somewhere where you put all that, and I would just compile that money. You know, every time it gets to $10,000 or $5,000 or $2,000 or whatever, pull it out and do it. I'd make sure you're always making your minimum payments on stuff, and then build up and pay that off, because it's going to be inspiring to see your wealth creation account grow to $5,000, and then you pull that out and put it towards your student loan. You're like, holy fletch, I just knocked out $5,000. Could I do it again? Could I do it again? And then again. And next thing you know, it's like, oh, freak, all my debt's gone. And then you learn how a credit card works. And you start using a credit card, and you start building up points and credit and all those things. That's what I would advise you to do. A credit card is a great tool. It's one of the best financial tools out there to build credit, to get rewarded, and to leverage money and take liability out of your hands. It is an incredible tool. You guys, I just bought some pizza for a family member from Pizza Hut, got scammed. Called the credit card company, and they're like, this is totally a scam. We're going to give you your money back, and we're going to go fight them. Thank you very much. All right? I think there are debit cards that do that, but the debit card is your money. Like, they gotta get verification. Credit card company gave me my money back instantly. So there's a lot of value to a credit card, but you need to learn that a credit card isn't to build up debt. A credit card is a tool, okay? And you need to use it for a tool and as a resource. Great question, though. All right. My husband's plan more than tripled because of me. What do I do? This is in the health insurance section on this online spot. They're asking about health insurance. The most important person to cover is the spouse. I lost my family's insurance because we got married. His insurance is through his work, and it's United Healthcare. However, before adding me, he was getting $94 taken out every paycheck, twice a month. And now, since adding me, he's getting $434 every paycheck. We are covered fully for health, vision, and dental. Damn, that's actually not that bad. But how is it going from 94 for one person to 434? The most expensive person is the spouse. For two people, affordable for anyone. What are our options? I broke down crying because of this and feel so guilty. What are our options? I've never been without insurance, which I know is privilege, but I don't know where to look for a cheaper plan that doesn't fully suck. Freaking men. Health insurance in this, it's getting awful. The most expensive person to insure is the spouse. So anytime you add your spouse, it's going to go up way more. Another thing is the company could be paying a higher portion towards his. You know, the company could say, hey, we're going to cover 80% of your cost, but we'll only cover 20% of the family or none of the family. So then spouse and kids, you got to pay 100% of. The company could be doing something like that. Another thing is you guys, you got to remember that premium is guaranteed. So look at the plan. Do they have multiple plan options? Is there a higher deductible, higher copay, higher, an HSA option? What are the options within there? A lot of companies, you can offer up to 3 plans. Every company should offer 3 plans. It doesn't cost more to offer 3 plans. You should have a high deductible, low deductible, and an HSA option, in my personal opinion. And if you're not a high utilization person, like my wife and I are on a high deductible HSA option. The reason why is because the premium is super low. And I mean, it's a lot lower than the other options. We have to pay 100% of the cost until we hit our deductible, but it keeps our premium a lot lower, and I can take all of the extra premium and put it into an HSA account, which is pre-tax, and that account builds and builds and builds, and I can use it for dental, medical, vision, prescription, copays, deductibles, anything, and I get a pre-tax benefit on it. So I would rather put money into an HSA plan, get the pre-tax benefit, and use that for copays, deductibles, and expenses than pay a high premium. Because a high premium, unless you're a business owner, isn't tax deductible. Okay, but for everybody, an HSA is tax deductible. And so I would share with this person, any of you listening, look at your health insurance options. Because if you have an option that's $450 a month with a $6,000 deductible, or you got an option that's $200 a month with an $8,000 deductible, do the freaking math. Okay, you got to do your math. Add the premium plus the deductible or the max out of pocket, all of those. Add those together and then see what your cost is for the year. And then on the other plan and the other plan. You guys, your premium, deductible, and max out of pocket. Okay, the deductible, depending on your plan, but the deductible is the first thing that you have to pay. So I was just meeting with somebody. Their deductible was $7,500. They paid everything. Doctor visits was a copay, but like an emergency room, they pay everything till they hit $7,500. Okay, and then the plan pays 50% from there until they hit $10,000. So they got another little bit of chunk that they got to pay, right? Well, that plan was $180 a month, or there was an option for $360 a month. It had lower deductible copays and max out of pocket, but they're paying double the premium. So it's like, how much are you really using your plan? They're like, well, just in case something happens. Well, let's keep premium low, take that extra premium and dump into an HSA plan. Create a strategy that way. That will also help you lower vision costs, lower dental costs, because you're putting money into a system that you get access to. I'm not saying that's the best thing for everybody, but you need to ask your company, are they charging you more, and could you look at a different plan option? That's what I would advise. What's a good monthly premium? I am 32-year-old female looking for life insurance now that I have a baby. I've been denied in the past for medical history. I have a history of PVCs and take beta blockers for it. I had an ablation, and during surgery, the doctor just dissected an artery in which they had to place emergency stents. I was quoted $43 a month for $720,000 with no medical exam needed through Banner Life Insurance. I'm wondering if this is a good policy given my medical history. Yeah. That is. I'm going to be honest with you, though. At 32 years old, that is a good premium, but you've got a bigger problem. And the bigger problem is if that's a 20-year term, when you're 52, you don't have, or when you're 53, you're in the same problem again. 100%. I would look at a permanent policy, even if it's just a final expense, even if it's just a $50,000 one that's going to last your lifetime. Even if it costs a little bit more, I'd really see if you could get a whole life insurance policy. You guys, 97% of term life insurance is never claimed. 97%. I have term life insurance on myself currently at the moment, but I invest way more money into whole life insurance because it's permanent and it grows. I will guaranteed get as long as I never stop paying the premium, I will get my money back out of those policies, guaranteed. A term life insurance policy, if you don't die, you just gave 43 times 12 times 20. You just gave the life insurance company $10,320. And I get it from your perspective, $720,000 is a good benefit, and I would get that option for the next 20 years. I don't know if it's a 20-year policy. That's what I'm guessing. But for this person, it's going to be more than that because your medical history. That's just a quote. Anybody can get a quote like that. You got to go through medical underwriting. They're going to make you go through medical underwriting with your history. I would rather pay more money to a whole life insurance policy that gets cheaper over the time, and I'm guaranteed going to get that policy. I would do a combination. I would put a little bit money towards a whole life policy and a little bit money towards that policy. That's what I currently do right now, and make sure that I'm covered today, tomorrow, and the next day. That's what I would look at. Thoughts on saving a little while paying off debt? What's that balance for you? Great freaking question. Hey, y'all, as the title says, I'd love to hear your thoughts on paying off debt versus savings per month. In Ramsey terms, everything should be thrown to student debt. I totally get that. However, for context, we're on one income and we plan to stay that way so I can raise our child. Good for you. We're totally happy with that sacrifice and know it'll take a bit longer. That's all right. My question is, aside from a small emergency fund, more than 1,000 but less than 5K, should we slowly be increasing that emergency fund? Or savings for backup, or just throw everything at debt? Edit, the debt is student debt. 4 loans are in the 3% and the rest are 4.5. Those are actually bad and over. Okay. I'd love to hear how you did or are currently attacking debt. Did you save a little something on the side, or did you go full debt attack, single or family? We're in the process of restructuring our budget, and I hate budget. and financial goals, so looking for insight. Any tips or suggestions are helpful. Thanks in advance. I would advise you to create wealth. What I mean by that is you guys need to create a wealth creation plan, and you need to have a place that you start parking money for the purpose of wealth. If you only focus on paying debt, you're gonna always have debt. What you focus on expands. Okay? I would share with you, I would create a plan, and your plan B, I like the emergency fund idea. I would look at it. I've never been the type where it's like have 3 months in savings, because that's a lot of 3 months. Let's say you make $5,000 a month. That's 15 grand sitting there. You could put that to work. Money's only as good as the investment you make with it. Okay, money is only as good as the investment you make with it. I share that because if money is just sitting doing nothing, that's why at the beginning it's like you can go buy gold and silver and all these things, but now you just got money sitting. So it's good to have a plan where I'm like, hey, I'm gonna build this slowly. But that's where you need to figure it out for yourself. So I would advise this couple, the plan that I would like to see. I've read everything Dave Ramsey. I get it. But if you create a plan where you put money into your financial system, it is so much more motivating. I mean, you're going to see those student loans. You're like, hey, we're going to put an extra $500 every single month. And you're like, that's $6,000 a year. This is going to take for freaking ever. What the heck are we doing? This isn't fun at all. It gets exhausting. And I see it all the time. People are like, oh, we were on a big get out of debt. It lasts like 4 months. Because it's not inspiring at all. What is inspiring is seeing pleasure, like your system growing, your system getting better, your wealth increasing. That is what's the best. That is what's fun. That's what's inspiring. And so I would say, all right, we've got this emergency fund and we've got X amount of dollars. As a family, we agree, this is where you sit down with you and your spouse, we need $5,000. We need to have $5,000 on hand at all times. Okay, great. We are going to start stuffing money into this account. And every time it gets to $10,000, we're going to pull 5 and put towards debt. You're going to make minimum payments. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to get that $5,000. We're going to contact the place. We're going to say we're putting 5 down on principal. No interest, principal only. Okay? That is inspiring because you see your accounts growing, and then you pull that money out and go see the debt decrease, and then you see your account increase, and then you see the debt decrease, and then you see your account. I mean, it's like, you guys, I like building fences. It's stupid, right? But one part about building a fence is you can be working and working and working and working. You look up and you're like, oh, crap. Look how far we made it. That's freaking awesome. Look at that line. Look how good it looks. That is fun. That's exactly, if you just give all your money to debt every single month, you're just constantly like, we have no money. 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 It's just constant all the time. And then people are finally like, friggin' screw this. I'm done. That is why everybody's read all these people's books and nobody sticks to it. Like 1 out of 100 people. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had over the years. Hundreds of people. They're like, oh yeah, I've done that. Lasted about 4 months. That is what I see the problem of it. But if you build a system where you're like, we build and then put it. We build and then we put it and we build. You're in control. You're seeing the progress of your life growing and then your life growing again because you're decreasing the amount that you owe. Another thing on those student loans, the debt is 4 loans are in the 3% and the rest are, how many freaking student loans are there? That might not be a bad idea to consolidate. I don't know if you can. I mean, you're paying interest on all of those. You got to spread out everywhere. Consolidating those type of things aren't a bad thing as long as you're targeting them super hard, right? Don't just consolidate and then consolidate and then consolidate and then consolidate. Like, don't just move debt around. You need to consolidate and get rid of it. Another thing on your minimum payments, if you've got them, I would split your minimum payments up if they'll allow you to. If you're making 1 payment a month, make 2 payments a month. If you're making $100 a month, do $50 minimum payment on the 10th and $50 on the 25th. All these loans are simple interest loans. Simple interest recalibrate interest every single time. So more is going to principal than interest every time you make a payment. And so by you making more payments, instead of making 12 payments in a year, you make 24 payments in a year, you recalibrate that interest 24 times instead of 12 times. You're going to pay those things down quicker. If you want to get freaking crazy, make a payment every week. You're like, every Friday we make a payment. That's 52 in a year. Like, that'd be awesome. Okay. So make those minimum payments, split those payments up, get that recalibrating, combine those if you need to. But then I would be like, okay, screw the freaking debt. We're going to focus on our family. We're going to build wealth in our family. And then you're staying home with a child. Is there stuff you could do? Like, what could you do to earn money? Stay home and be a mom. But I know, like, my kids, they take some mean naps sometime. Mornings, evenings, those times. Is there something you could do to make $500,000 a month or whatever? And now you just got that much more to put into your system and grow to that 5-10 grand really quick, and then take it out and put it there. You take money from your husband's check, you put money in, boom, 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 boom. Get aggressive with that stuff. And I see the excitement in that because you see the progress in it because you're building your account, paying off the debt. It's like, how much can I get in there? That is what helped me the most. You guys, I didn't understand this until I started doing it. But when I started with $25 and started saving $25, and then I seen it, and then I would see it again. Every time I logged in my bank account, I seen this account growing. I started putting money in a specific account, and I was like, "Gosh, dang, could I put $30 in there?" And then a year goes by, and I had saved almost $1,000, and I'm like, "Whoa, how did we do that?" It was fun. It was inspiring. It became a game, right? It became a game for me of how much could I get in there. And then I get so much in there, and then I'm like, boom, let's apply that. I do it now. This thing that I'm telling you right now, I do the exact same thing. I use a life insurance policy to do it. I'll borrow all the money out of the life insurance policy. I went and paid my truck off with the life insurance money, and now I'm like getting that money back in the policy as fast as I can because it's fun. I seen the numbers grow. I pulled it out. I saved interest on my truck because my policy interest is much lower than my truck interest rate was. And so now I'm excited to put all that money back in there and then do it again to other things that we're working on right now. So that's what I would advise on there. That makes it fun. All right. Those with bi-weekly pay, do you do this? I'm curious how many other people do this. For those with bi-weekly pay, do you budget your income as if you're paid twice a month, every month? That's what it is. I remember disagreeing with a teacher in college who said they divided out their annual salary by 12. They were paid bi-weekly. That logically made no sense to me. Doing so would mean 10 months of the year you'd be overstating the actual income you'd receive. Yeah, like, you only have what you have. You'd be underestimating the actual income received. I have always budgeted my income based on 2 pay periods a month. 10 months out of the year, this is correct. I don't see how anyone could meet bills and savings goals if they were overestimated their income. I treat the 2 months out of the year that result in a triple pay period as a bonus pay month. Great. What is in your bank account? That is my strategy normal or just weird? If it freaking works for you, it works for you. Like, who cares? My wife's paid every 2 weeks on her income, and I don't even know. The first day of the month, I get in and pay all of our expenses. I put every expense on a credit card, and I have it to where my credit card is due. I'm actually 2 months ahead on it because of how I do it. So the very last day of the month, my wife gets paid sometime in the middle of the month and then the end of the month, and then I pay myself the first. So she's gotten paid, I've gotten paid, and then I manage everything. And we put everything on a credit card to leverage it through the month. I leverage a credit card to carry the month, and then I pay the whole thing off. So I never pay interest. And then I leverage the whole month, and then I pay it off. And then I leverage the whole month, and I pay it off. So I'm never paying interest. I'm paying it in full every single time. And then all of the other payments, I schedule those. And so I schedule those and put those out. So figure out whatever your system is. Like, if it works for you, it works for you. Do it. Go for it. Live it. Work it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is everything right there that I had planned. I'm actually going to jump in here. I want to see, does anybody have any questions? Do we have anybody live? Let's see. Uh-oh. Got to turn the volume down. Okay, I don't have any questions there. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I got a dang itchy nose all of a sudden. Checking questions. Okay, I don't see any questions. That's wonderful. You guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you all have an incredible weekend. An incredible weekend. Use it to relax. Use it, but also use it to make progress. Make progress in your life. Thank you, guys. You've been listening to The Jared Briggs Show. Catch you next week.